Hey, welcome back to the Inner Circle preview call. Actually, it's a new update. It's on Wednesdays now. So happy Wednesday, happy What If Wednesday to everybody out there. Welcome in, Sean. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I love the alliteration. What if Wednesday flows, feels good. We're riffing and jamming. That song was Mission by Moon Taxi, a band founded in 2006. I believe they're based in Tennessee. Beautiful.
Well,
So
that's what we're talking
let's
about today.
go.
Yeah,
You got me on a mission. Let's talk. What are we talking about? What
we
are we playing with today, Brandon?
we're playing with so many things, but we're gonna start with where we've been. So past 3 weeks, we've been in the core of your business, right? The core of the architecture,
Oh,
the
before, wait, wait,
harmonious
wait, wait,
architecture.
wait, wait, wait. Talking about where you've been. Where are you? Because the week you've been, I've never been on a call where you've been paragliding. I mean, what are you doing? I hear
we're,
a lot of
we're
wind.
playing with background noise. We're playing with wind. We're playing with cars. We got all sorts of things. I'm chilling at a Starbucks.
Starbucks
So this is
sponsorship.
Starbucks, sponsored by Starbucks. Welcome to the Inner Circle. No, we're traveling this week. This is the second and final engagement from the sale of my business. So doing a little on-site consulting here, which of course we do for our clients, and this one's just wrapping up. So this is obviously an exciting time. We got the Inner Circle launching. We have this other phase of my life wrapping up what I've built for 5 years, and
And
the
consulting
merging of the two worlds
on
happens
the
at Starbucks.
architecture. Consulting on the architecture.
Correct. Yes, that is what we do. It's the easiest way to convey simplistic growth for your business, and that's what we're all about. So we start. It's the beginning, the middle, the end, right? It's the architecture. Everything comes back through it, and that's what we're here to talk about again. No shock, right?
No, I'm not shocked.
So yes, that's where we are. We are at Starbucks. We have been at the core, like I said, core of the harmonious architecture. It is the mission, vision, core value. So last week we talked specifically about vision, and this week, we're spending 4 weeks on this because it is so crucial. Everything builds off of the foundation of the core of your business. So if you don't have these three things right, and there's more in this typical strategic planning portion of the architecture. But these three things, if you don't get them right, you can't build everything else effectively because it all touches. So we're tying it all together this week. So based on that, what do you want to touch on first as far as tying those three things together and really making sure they play together cohesively in your business?
Yeah, so I want to make sure that when we're in the room, that strategic planning is the traditional form, right? And that means so many things to so many people. I've seen people do strategic planning for their business, and it's really just, I don't mean to laugh. I laugh because it's laugh or cry. That's the choice, right? So I laugh for you instead of weep for you. That they will do it is like just projections, right? I've done my strategic planning. I'll get 500 people in my thing, and that's what I'm going to do this year. That's like saying my plan is I'm going to make it rain, bro. Little money guns. That's a hope. That's a dream. That's not a plan. And then I also we'll see people getting very tactical on, well, my strategic plan is I will do this and this and this. That's a tactical plan. It's what you're going to do. That's great. Awesome. Need it. Right. So the strategic plan, sometimes they also then think, well, I'm going to look SWOT analysis, marketplace versus where I am. But that's great. That has a place too. But we're glossing over what was the derivation of this discipline, which is just the fundamental. Who am I? Who am I? Like what hills will I die on? What must this thing be? Because if you don't do that, then when the seas get stormy, times are tough, money is tight, you'll start looking here, looking there, pivoting. You're now chasing dollars rather than the dream, rather than the mission, rather than, right? I don't know who I am. Therefore, yeah, I went to a conference. I met somebody who makes surfboards for cats, and they told me I get a commission. Well, all I have to do is have my person in the Philippines and writes and do the clickety click and make it on my website, and it'll be an affiliate. What are we doing? What are we doing?
I'm so glad we came back to the surfing cats 2 weeks in a row. That's so. Wait, let's pause there. Let's pause with the surfing cats, because you're touching on something super important that I don't think we've touched on the previous 3 weeks, which is in big companies. You know, you have so many moving parts. You're not really looking at the individual, the founder, the CEO's core values and their personal mission. But
no,
we're talking to small businesses, and that's who we help. So how closely tied are your personal core values and your personal mission to that of your company that you relay then to your team and your customers? And do you ever see people kind of ignore the personal side and just focus on the business? And where does that get them?
Oh, 100%. So we did some market research, and the things that seem to be important are to them these things, right? Well, one of them is integrity. Okay, great. And so you do and say, oh no, I like cheat and steal and do whatever I want, but my company's going to stand for this. No. The stripes belie the zebra, right? It is you will manifest who you are, either through how you act to all of your employees. So then that's core values on a wall, and people are going to look and respond to what you do. And if you are not in alignment with the core values that are on the wall, then your people are uninspired and just taking a paycheck from you. I'm sorry, they could be doing more. They're not gonna, or they leave, and you get people who are bottom feeders. In the scenario of we say these things, we actually don't care. You're gonna get other people then around you who actually don't care, and then that will be your right. You've now proliferated that feeling and sentiment throughout your organization, despite what you're telling the world. And then eventually, like, this business is not long for the world, because your people, your customers, the people you're supposed to be serving, will feel that, see it, experience it, despite the world's best marketer. And then you're not, right? You're not long for the world. So, and who wants that anyway, right? Most entrepreneurs are in it for right? They are who they are. They know who they are, but you've got to lean into that, establish your core values first, and then the core values of your company. We will never, and they should be aligned. Because if you're working in an environment of your own creation that isn't really in line with what you believe, you don't fake it till you make it. You fake it till you break it. It's not going to work. Okay, so that's first. And then now you have core values. By these things, our company lives, breathes, delivers value, and we will not deviate from it and break that promise to our clients, even if it means we're missing out on we left $1 on the table. If the dollars on the table are what you're in it for, then that's what you're in it for, and that's a different energy and vibe, and those companies are clear and apparent, and they are where they are. And if you're trying to create something truly beautiful, inspirational, impactful, and harmonious, then you need to know who you are and who your company is in total alignment with these 5 principles, right? By these, we live and die. And every product, service, and benefit flows through that lens. Great. Because our mission is what? Because now I've said, this is who I am in the world. Whether it's through a eco-packaging company like BevGraph, or a consulting company for entrepreneurs like Whadif, or any other thing I do, you're going to get the same look and feel from what I believe, because I don't believe one thing over here and one thing over here. I believe these things. And so then these companies believe these things. And then our mission, now it's a different mission. Eco packaging, it's a totally different mission than Whadif, based on the same values, and therefore they can play together. That's the essence of merging with other companies, with other people, with other providers. Do we feel the same way about the world? Not think the same way about the world. I don't know if Brandon thinks about the world the same way I do. I think he does. I think he thinks the way I think, but he does think different
Clear,
things than I do.
nobody thinks the way you think. So we can let's take that off the table right away before we get any deeper.
Go get fair. But we feel the same way. So we could look at the same thing and go, and he could be like, could you believe that? I'm like, that could totally, I love it. It could be positive. We see it totally differently. But because our hearts are in the same place, we have the same values, that conversation is additive, not subtractive. We're not fighting with each other. We're collaborating on all of life. Do you see what I see? I don't know. I see a dude with a guitar. I see mastery in 12 layers when Prince is on stage play that funky music on an encore for president. That is so beautiful. I could weep watching it. Well, people are like, yeah, that's to do with the guitar. But our hearts are in the same place. And then when we share that information, he sees it the way I see it. I see it the way he sees it, because we have that common foundation. Great. We can riff and jam. Our mission, then, now we know who we are. And the mission is this thing we've built. There might be other things we're building other places. They have different missions. But this one is to disrupt the thinking of entrepreneurs so that they can build something bigger, faster, with more impact, in a way that feels fun and joyous and in alignment with who they are and is harmonious. That is the mission for that thing. We have lots of ways to do it. And then we have a vision. The vision is, where could this go in 5 years? And if it's not a little bit scary, like, did we just say that? Like, how could we do that? Then it's a layup and nobody cares. Nobody writes an article about, and then the guy got the ball right under the basket and nobody was near him and he just kind of did this. It's a layup. The crazy things are, and then from this end, he threw it and it, okay, I don't know. My basketball game is weak. I don't understand. I should have made it a hockey reference.
Obviously a basketball player.
Right?
Yeah, you would have knocked that one out of the park, right? That's good. No. But okay, wait, let's pause real quick, because that's super important what you just said, the differentiation between core values, mission, vision, and how that works both with external partners and internal employees. Because if your core values aren't in alignment, and we're gonna diagnose this inside the inner circle right after this call, but if your internal core values are not in alignment with each other, if me and you are not on the same page with the way that we interact with the world, we cannot work together. That's a fact. The same can be said for, and you said this also, your external business partners. So whether that's partnering with another company, another ecosystem, whatever you want to call it, if your company core values aren't in alignment with that company's core values, it will never work. So your mission could be, one of your missions could be to take over the planet, and the other could be to save the planet. But if your core values are in alignment, you could probably work through that.
I mean,
if your core values are out of alignment, it's not going to work.
You could make money, and you could, you can. The deviation, right? The delta between your core values and the promise you're making to your clients, your constituents, your people, your tribe, your whatever you want to call them, right? The delta between what you've told them and who you are matters preeminently, but it is a very close second for that same deviation for your partners. And you can try to make excuses for them and say, well, but they're not us, but they make a good jacket. Okay, but those jackets are made in a way that is horrendous, and you say you're against that. Yeah, but we got a good partnership, and don't worry about that. We stand for that. We can't control what they do. No. But right, that also is a violation of that promise. So you're getting this right because it works better for you, for your employees. Everybody feels good. You feel good. They feel good. Your partners feel good. The whole thing is flowing. And you might mistake that for, well, we agreed early on how we were going to work with each other. We had a great contract. I'm a lawyer. I understand that, right? We had a great contract and we had great processes, and that's why it worked well. I'd rather your values line up and your missions be additive, and the rest will take care of itself. It really will. I mean, even with this mastermind here that we're doing with the luminaries, I could have sent people a 25-page contract that would have covered us in 11 ways. But I don't need to, because if I did that, it's not really in alignment with what we're trying to build here. Like, this is a Prince concert, right? This is not, we're building a sandbox. If you're in here as a luminary, if I had to send you that contract for you to be in here to be a luminary, you wouldn't be in here to be a luminary. And if that burns me, bring it on, baby. Burn it to the ground. I don't, right? Because then I made a misjudgment on who we're playing with. But that's the look and feel that I want, and that's in alignment. That would be the first misalignment if I said to Arena Miller, our resident astrologer, astronomer, speaker to the energies of the universe, if I told that beautiful spirit, I love who you are, I love what you're doing, I trust you implicitly to be on the same stage with me, let's riff and jam, you love people the way I love people, let's go. And she goes, great, when can we start? I go, well, just sign this. And she gets a 20-page document with boilerplate and BS protecting us from her, and her from us. This is not that's not the jam. Now, we do a whole thing about protection, right? That's later in the model, right? That's risk assessment and defense. We get rad with protecting ourselves. It's great. And so you need that kind of protection. But what I'm talking about here is right now we're in the place of core values, mission, and vision, and you would do well to put that first and then worry about what that boilerplate contract is later, because there will be one, but that's just for that. I'm not saying, oh my God, let's not get off track here and tell people they don't have to have contracts in their business. Oh my God, that's
not the legal advice we're giving.
Especially to the general population. I'm talking about people that you're bringing into your closest center. Core value alignment must happen, and then a lot of other stuff gets minimized in its importance. If you don't do that first, you better have a 30-page contract. Right? But so here what we're saying, relative to navigation, which is where we are, not strategic planning, navigation, how do I navigate in this world? I know who I am. If Brandon is exactly the same with me and core values, a lot of stuff takes care of itself. Hey, I've got this mission. Me too. Now we're hard charging together. And what's the vision? It should be some big scary thing that he goes, I don't know how to do that. You don't need to. 5 years from now, Brandon will know how to do that. Okay? but it's got to be that far. You can't know how you're going to do it. You might have an inkling, but if you already know, well, yeah, I'll just do this, this, and this, and it's going to take 5 years. That's not a stretch. That's a layup. You're under the basket, popping it in. I want a half-court shot to win a new Prius. Is that a thing? I don't know. Right? Great. Yes. Scary. Bold. Audacious.
Priuses
Time
are
bound.
scary and
So
bold. You're right.
time bound, not forever. We're not laying bricks until we die. We are building a cathedral. We know what the ending is. It is inspirational. We're on the page, right? For everyone, not just you. But this is the vision. We will be recognized as this, by this, with this. So we all know it's true or not. Let's go. And those things have to be well blended. And when they are well blended, then navigation is more powerful than any strategic planning bullshit boot camp you've been through. Because what they're then really talking about is how you execute. How do we do things? How do we do the tactical planning? How do we then run the race that we thought about and envisioned? Right. Actually run the race. So that's a different discipline. And we separate it on purpose because the commingling of it diffuses what we're saying. It diffuses and waters down the power of the discipline. Brandon, am I making sense?
No,
you
are making sense. And I want to focus in real quick, since we are tying this all together this week, and how it shows up in one specific area, which you made me think of with that explanation. So think about, you've heard of ABC players in terms of rating employees, right? It's common language, everyone talks about it. There's a secret to hiring only A players, and it's through what we're talking about in navigation. So let's talk about layers of alignment. We have mission, vision, core values, 3 different things, right? And we've talked about this. If your core values are the same, that's 1 layer of alignment. If your core values and mission, that's 2, and vision, so on, 3. If you as a company are rock solid, and as the owner, founder, CEO, whatever, the leader of the company, if you are rock solid in those 3, both personally and professionally for your business, and you integrate that so deeply in your hiring, and you look for people with a minimum of 2 layers of alignment. So let's say their core values and their personal mission are in alignment with your company's core values and mission. I would bet my left arm that is an A player, regardless of their skill level or experience. That person will die on a hill for you and your company, because their core values and their mission, their internal who they are, is in almost direct alignment with your company. If you can get all 3, that person should probably lead your company, because they will go farther than any other person. But that's what I'm talking about with this layers of alignment, and why navigation is so important, because it's integrated everywhere. That's just specifically with your people and your hiring. But you can see already the power behind this, and I know you know this, but that's what we're talking about here, and that's why we're spending 4 weeks on it.
Yeah, the it's not just through the hiring and there are no A play. It's A, B, or C players for you. Not that this person isn't terrible. They're great somewhere, just not the environment you've given them. You haven't optimized them. You haven't aligned them with their teammates. You haven't inspired them in the right way. You've managed them in the right way. With this poor person, how dare you call them a C, right? So, yes, there are technical jobs and technical skills or physical skills, right? One person might be a better firefighter because they're going to run up and down ladders than another person, and right, so that's different. But heart and alignment, you can't teach that. You can't train that over time. It can't be faked. They will be a square peg in a round hole, and the most brilliant person could be disruptive in your organization and dissonant if they're not in alignment with everybody else. And I don't mean everyone has to think again. Well, again, they don't have to think the same. We don't want them thinking the same. That's terrible. We want them to feel the same and see the world through the same prism. That's it. because then we're looking at the same thing.
Exactly. So we're going to wrap this up pretty soon. We're going to head on over to the inner circle. We're going to really dive deep and tie together mission, vision, core values this week. Wrap up the navigation section. Sean, any last words, any last advice for people, what they can do to do this on their own? And before you do that, you see the bottom of the screen, whatif.com/inner circle. If you want to join us inside the inner circle, you get your 30 days free. Come join us within our mastermind. We have a ton of fun in there. Sean, what do you got?
Last words. Well, I hope someday my last words will be, I told you it was serious. But no, I have no last words. I'm a long way away from last words. Let's go into the room.
Next time, I'm going to specify last words for this specific call. I'm so sorry I wasn't that specific.
Take the bad.
Take the bad.
Precision.
You know where to take the bad. It's right here on the screen. We'll see you next Wednesday on the What If Inner Circle preview show. We're jumping over now to the actual inner circle. We're going to have a lot of fun. We'll see you there.